Alright, so it is the 4th of May, and that means that it is May 4th, and everyone is making May the 4th be with you jokes. Um, yeah, I had a pretty good set of workouts today, arm day, and I got a lot of work done on the book too. I just had a lot of free time at work, and I wrote a lot of good stuff. I loved writing the section where I tore into the FMS. For those that don't know, the FMS is the functional movement screen. It's essentially a series of tests, certain movements that you use and then you measure to determine whether or not ostensibly someone is likely to hurt themselves or whether they have dysfunctional movement patterns. Now, the thing is that the FMS does not really deliver on that promise. There's plenty of research now that confirms that it's not really good for much of anything, which is really unfortunate because a lot of people place a lot of stock in it. It's commonly used because it lets a personal trainer think that they can be a physical therapist, and it helps you demonstrate value to your clients by saying, oh look, here's this issue that I diagnosed in you, and I know exactly how to fix it. The problem is, of course, that it's not good at diagnosing issues. The corrective exercises that are prescribed to fix these issues are not necessarily any better than anything else. And, they may not have really been issues in the first place. So, yeah, I'm not going to go into exactly all the research and everything right now, but it's pretty much garbage. And I worked at a job previously where the FMS was used pretty religiously, and in which essentially it was a group class setting, and so everyone had to do the FMS when they came in. And the idea was that we would use the results of these FMS tests to modify all of the stuff that they were doing in these group classes, based on, of course, what was forbidden and what wasn't for them. And of course, it's not like we sat down and memorized every single person's, movement, supposed movement dysfunctions and results of every single one of their tests. So for a very long time, this was never actually enforced. We didn't actually do anything about it, essentially. And then he started implementing this system in which he would give people wristbands, colored wristbands. So there were different colors to represent the different things that were forbidden to you. And that made it a lot easier to identify, except that people, didn't really actually wear the wristbands. And B, since they hadn't had since these hadn't been enforced the entire time, you've now got things like, we start enforcing it and we say, oh, well, according to your test, you're not allowed to deadlift. And you're telling this to a guy who's been deadlifting for the past 2 months just fine without problem and is actually one of the stronger deadlifters in the group class. Just absolutely silly stuff. And, FMS doesn't work. And I've seen so many gyms where trainers get FMS kits and they don't use them, or they do use them, but they don't really use them in a way that makes any sense. I think that the FMS can be useful for an initial assessment as a way to refer people out to, more educated professionals, actual physical therapists who can handle potential issues. At the same time, that's not the way it's used, and that's not the way that the creators of FMS intend for it to be used, obviously, because they make it clear that they really do genuinely believe in the efficacy of this screen. So that was actually a really fun section to write. I remember way back in the day, probably 3 years ago, when I first started, out as a personal trainer. That was one of the first internet debates I followed. There was a group on Facebook that was full of a lot of the smarter personal trainer types, and there was a physical therapist called, his name's Jonathan Fass, and he's also a pretty bright guy, and people were just duking it out just so hard. And obviously a lot more research has come out since then that kind of confirms the stuff that they were arguing about back then, but man, it's absolutely astounding how much trainers and fitness professionals love the FMS, even though there's basically no evidence behind it. So you know, that was a fun section to write, because it brings me back to the good old days. Aside from that, I did not make a video yesterday. I just wasn't feeling it. I ended up just writing a bunch instead yesterday too, instead of taking another video. And you know, after like I got done with this, you know, and I got really into it, and then I realized like, oh, I'm done with this section, and I could maybe do the video now, except it's 2 a.m. and I have to go to sleep to go to work. So, so yeah, you know, these things happen. I will also say that I'm feeling very tired today, but it's not the sort of tired I was feeling in the first couple months. Or, sorry, not the first couple months, the first couple weeks. I'm getting to that point where these workouts are not beating me up as much. But at the same time, I literally had this thought today where I was thinking about my schedule for the rest of the week. And I was like, man, you know what would be a really great thing is if I did not have to work out tomorrow. And lo and behold, I don't have to work out tomorrow because tomorrow's my day off. Guys, it is absolutely okay to not want to work out. Like, you know, it is absolutely okay to be lazy. Even, like, the fittest people in the world don't want to work out 24/7. You know, like, certainly there are people that want to work out more than other people, and that's fine, you know? Like, who cares, like, exactly how much someone wants to work out and exactly how motivated someone is. But, yeah, like, you gotta understand that everyone has, like, times when they just want to be like, you know what? I just don't feel like working out today. Luckily, you know, in this case, this coincides with an actual programmed rest day in the schedule and not just, you know, like a day that, you know, would have probably been important that I actually do a workout. So, yeah, that's about it for today. I re-weighed myself. I'm sitting at 215 pounds again, so still making some good steady progress in putting on the weight. Now, 20 pounds up from where I was when I first started, 2.5 weeks ago. So, yeah, 2.5 weeks. So, yeah, it's pretty exciting. And, yeah, as always, I will see you guys later. Like, comment, share, check out my Patreon. Don't check out my website, because my website is down right now. There was a hosting issue that I haven't resolved yet that I'm going to be fixing either tomorrow or Friday. But, yeah, I'll be fixing that soon, so don't worry about it. Anyway, as always, have fun, lift heavy things, and, you know, get your workouts in today. So.